Hi everyone, welcome to the TechGigs webinar. Thank you for joining the session today. The topic of today's webinar is Digital Business and PM Community. We expect the session to last for an hour with 40 to 45 minutes for the presentation and the remaining 15 minutes for the Q&A round. So if you have any questions, please send them to us using the questions tab on the GoToWebinar control panel. I am Sabah Khan, the moderator of this session, and it gives me great pleasure to introduce you to our guest speaker, Mr. Prakasha MS, Senior Manager, Oracle SSI. Mr. Prakasha has a dynamic career of 20 years in IT industry with 17 plus years career in electronics, embedded systems, semiconductors, design manufacturing industry. The experience reflects year-on-year success with distinction of steering improvement initiatives with a focus on streamlining and managing operations with proactive planning, introducing new concepts and steering change, diverse industry, technical and functional expertise with experience of working with global organizations like Oracle, HCL Parrot, Alstom, Bharat Electronics Limited. So without further delay, I introduce you all to our guest speaker. Over to you, Mr. Prakasha.
Thanks, Sabah, for a nice introduction. Thanks to all the participants for getting onto the conference. We will start off with this. As Sabah has introduced, today's session is Digital Business and Project Management Community. So I will be speaking on the digital business basics and then how it is relevant to the project management community. We will just touch upon on this topic also. So all of you are able to see the presentation and all of you are able to hear my audio, I hope. We will start the presentation. Yeah, the agenda for today, we will understand the basic of digital business. We will answer the question, what is digital business? Then we will understand the difference between digital and analog. Then we will go through the topic of pillars of digital business. What are the pillars which has built this digital business? We will understand. Then we will go through the building blocks of digital business. What organization should be doing to build the digital business or transform their organization into digital space. What they should be doing, what blocks they should be using. We'll be seeing in this building blocks. Then we will just quickly go through some few case studies. Then the question and answer session. Sabah, can you, before we really get into the presentation, I have some very, very primitive questions to put across. I want the audience to answer these questions. Sabah, can you put those questions across? Can you just, I'm not able to see the poll result. Can you just read out the result, Sabah?
The result is 99% have replied yes and 1%
For,
no. To the question, do you use mobile, laptop, tab, notepad?
okay. Then the second question.
Second question, have you done any online transactions using any of the above devices so far? So as per the poll results, 96% have voted yes and 4% as no.
Okay. Yeah, thanks for answering the question. So 99% of the audience, they are already using either mobile or laptop or tab or iPad, and 96% already have done some kind of transaction using any of these devices. So this is the digital business. So already we have the definition for digital business. So just for completion, I am going to just to bring out a very commonly accepted definition of digital business. So it is activities using any of the devices, mobile, laptop or tab, and using the social media, analytics, big data, cloud, IoT technologies, any one of them or all of them. This is the digital business. If you do any activity using any of your devices and use any of the items like analytics, big data, cloud, IoT, social media, it is the digital activity or the digital business. Why digital business? All these days we have lived without digital business. Why digital business now? So this digital business leads to innovations. Probably new products and services will come into the market, and the customer will have new kind of experience in this digital space. What are the other things? There are going to be a lot of competitive advantages in using the digital business. So the companies can go very close, can build very close relationship with the customers. We can have the customer intimacy. We can have personalized interaction with the customers, which may bring in lot of insights of the consumers. We may also get more efficient way of operating the business. We may also be aware of so many things which you are not aware all these days in the market, in the kind of practices and processes the people are following, and what are their likings and what are their dislikings. All those things we will have a better awareness. The companies may get better revenues, additional revenues. Companies may be able to bring out better products. Companies may be able to bring out the services and products very quickly to the market by using the digital business. So the companies which adopt the digital business, they will have a lot of competitive advantages compared to the companies which have not adopted the digital business. Going further, let us understand the difference between digital and analog quantity. So by definition, analog quantities have continuous values. Digital quantities have discrete values. For example, if I want to say convey a quantity like say the width of my laptop. If I show my forehand and say the width is so much, that is the analog way of expressing the value. If I tell the same thing, my laptop width is about 30 centimeters. That is the digital way of expressing the quantity. The very classic example is the good old analog clock and digital clock. In analog clock, the time is shown continuously with a needle moving from throughout the circle. In the digital clock, the time is shown in terms of the discrete numbers, like say now it is 10 o'clock, 5 minutes. Next it will show 10 o'clock, 6 minutes, like that. The analog and digital are more relevant in the field of electronics. So we have the analog technology-based electronic devices and digital technology-based electronic devices. These days, the devices are mix of both analog and digital technology. For example, the most common item which we use, the mobile phone, is a combination of digital and electronic, digital and analog technology. Going further, the third industrial revolution. The digital revolution is considered as the third industrial revolution, which started around 80s. And we are going through this third industrial revolution. So the advancement of technology from analog electronics and mechanical devices to digital technology has triggered this digital revolution. We are passing through this digital revolution. We are contributing to this digital revolution. We are experiencing the digital revolution. Probably we should also understand what is industrial revolution. That will make this third industrial revolution more clear. The industrial revolution, there were two industrial revolutions, the first industrial revolution and the second industrial revolution. The first one started around 1760 and it lasted until 1840. The second one started around 1870 and lasted until 1940. What was the impact of this industrial revolution? Probably the way in which the things are made, things are manufactured, moved from individual based to kind of factory based setup. So prior to the industrial revolution, most of the things are made by individuals. For example, the furniture was made by a carpenter who is an individual. He will cut the wood, he will fix the wood and make the furniture. So from there, in the industrial revolution, things moved into mass manufacturing, volume manufacturing. The factories came up, a lot of people started working together, a lot of technology was applied. The first industry which got very much transformed because of the industrial revolution was the textile industry. So things moved from the manual spinning to the machine-based spinning. So that is how we had two industrial revolutions earlier. The digital revolution which we are going through today is considered as the third industrial revolution. Going further, we were discussing about the digital business. We understood what is the digital business. Let us understand what are the pillars of digital business. What are the pillars supporting this digital business? The first pillar is the semiconductor technology. So the semiconductors are the materials which have the conductivity between conductors and insulators. Conductors, the examples are copper. Copper is the very commonly used conductor. Ceramic are the examples of insulators. Copper conducts electricity in a very good way. Ceramic doesn't conduct electricity at all. whereas the semiconductors which are lying in between the two conduct electricity to some extent. That is why they are called as semiconductors. The modern electronic devices are built using this semiconductor material. The example of semiconductor material are silicon, germanium, or compounds like gallium arsenide, cadmium selenide, etc. Going further, the semiconductor industry, how it has progressed over the time. So probably 1950 can be marked as the beginning of the semiconductor era. So at that time, one transistor was fabricated in an area of about 1 square mm. Yeah, to make it clear, a transistor is an electronic component, a three-legged electronic component, which is the very, very basic building block of all electronic circuits. A transistor can act like a switch, transistor can act like an amplifier, transistor can act like a variable resistor. So this makes all your electronic circuits to function. So in 1950, a single transistor, in fact, just to complete, transistors are used as switches in the computer circuits. The computer will have billions and billions of these transistors which will work as switch and do the computation. So in 1950s, one transistor was built in an area of about 1 square mm. The bottom picture shows how it was packed, and the packed transistor was about 5 mm in the radius. So as the time advanced, the technology has grown, and we are able to pack more and more transistors in a given area. So you can just have a look at the slide. So in 60s, 16 transistors we are able to pack, 17, 4,500. In the 80s, we are able to pack 275,000. In 90, about 3 million. In 2000, about 592 million. In 2010, about 8 billion transistors we are able to pack in a given area. So this technology, this advancement of packing devices in a small area and interconnecting them has created the revolution in electronics. Today, the mobile phone is able to function because of this semiconductor technology. Going further, the other pillar of the digital business is the communication technology. So 1873 can be marked as the beginning of this communication technology. So earlier, prior to the 73, the scientists and engineers used mode of transmission through wire. So the current will be transmitted through wire. 73, the existence of the waves which can travel without the help of wire were discovered. These are called as the radio waves. So they are also called as electromagnetic waves. So you can transmit from one end to the other end without the use of a wire. It will travel through the vacuum and reach it will travel through the atmosphere or vacuum and reach the other part. Thereby, you will be able to communicate. So on these electromagnetic waves, you can piggyback the data, you can piggyback the audio, you can piggyback the video. Thereby, you can reach long distances. So this technology has advanced very fast in the last few decades. Today, we are able to transmit from a satellite which is about 30,000 kilometers above the Earth and receive the signal on Earth and vice versa. We can send from here and the satellite can receive the signal. So as a result of this today, the technology is used in all the area. One classic example is the satellites are in touch with the aircraft when the aircraft is flying. It provides the very accurate guiding for the aircraft. A satellite which is above 30,000 kilometers is able to guide the aircraft traveling on the Earth's surface. Going further, the other pillar, which is the most widely used pillar, is the internet. I call it as the mighty internet. So to understand the internet, of course, all of you are already aware, all of you are users of internet. Just to complete the kind of presentation, a network is a group of two or more computer systems linked together. These computers can exchange data between them. The figure left side shows the artistic view of a network. Right side, probably a view which is very close to the real physical view. Internet is a massive network of networks. Several networks of put together becomes the internet. The internet, you can call it as a networking infrastructure. Today, internet connects billions of computers across the globe, in which any computer can communicate to any other computer seamlessly. For example, today, right now, that is what we are doing. I am sitting in Bangalore. The participants are sitting across the globe, across the country. We are able to communicate using the internet. Going further, let us understand something more about the internet. So this internet is the visionaries of 60s. J.C.R. Licklider of MIT, who was the professor at MIT, can be given the credit of first imagining this a network which today is called as the internet. He imagined a global network of computers, and he wrote a memo that such a network, we have to build such a network where the computers across the globe will communicate seamlessly. So the credit of imagining or conceptualizing this internet should be given to J.C.R. Licklider of 60s. In fact, the packet switching technology, which came into existence in say 60s, 70s, could be given the credit of the workhorse behind the internet. Going further, the journey of internet. So how the internet has progressed in the years. So 69 can be marked as the beginning of this networking of computers. When they called this internet word was not there. They were calling it as ARPANET. Then in 73, they called it as FTP and TCP network. Then in 76, they called it as Ethernet. In 82, the internet came into existence. So from 82, how the internet has progressed and how the companies have come up in this internet space. You can see all the familiar companies: Yahoo, Amazon, eBay, AOL, iTunes, Facebook, Google. All these companies have used the internet infrastructure and grown in their business, grown in their innovation. At the same time, these companies are responsible for the growth of the internet and sustainability of the internet. So it is mutual. The companies have contributed in the strengthening, in the growth of internet, and in turn, the internet has contributed in the growth of this company. Going further, today the statistics on internet. So from 2000 to 2020, how the things are going to change. The green bar is the global population. So 2000 we were at 6 billion. In 2010, it has grown to 7 billion, and 2020 we may reach about 7.5 billion. The red bar shows the internet users, the percentage of internet users. So in 2000, there were about 4% of the population were using the internet. In 2010, 22% were using the internet. In 2020, 66% of the population will be on the internet. Going further, the next pillar which has built the digital business is the mobile. So communication is a key activity of human being. So without communication, probably without our communication ability, without our communication skill, probably we could not have progressed so much in our civilization. So we always would like to exchange ideas with each other. We would like to express our anger when we are angry. We would like to also share happiness when we are happy. This is the basic activity in human being. So we would like to keep on exchanging ideas, exchanging information. That is our basic kind of a activity. Without this, probably we could not have progressed so much. Without this, we could not have also kind of live in the condition like what we are living today. Coming to mobile communication. Mobile communication is exchanging information, exchanging text, exchanging data, exchanging images over the wireless network. So prior to the wireless era, we had the telephone era, which started in 1876. Telephone era is the telephones interconnected by wire. Today we call them as landlines. So 1876 can be marked as the beginning of this wire connected, hard connected telephone. And this Alexander Graham Bell can be credited as the innovator of this telephone. There were several contenders for this, but finally it went to the court and Alexander Graham Bell was identified as the inventor of this telephone. This telephone technology progressed, and by 1946 the mobile telephone technology came into real usage. In fact, 1946 can be marked as the year of the first mobile call made. In fact, the first mobile call was made by a truck driver driving in some highway in the United States. Guess what was the weight of the mobile phone which he used in that 1946? You will be surprised. It was weighing about 45 kg and it was fitted into his truck. So he stopped his truck somewhere on the highway and made the first mobile call to his base station. Today, the mobile technology has advanced so much. Today's mobile weighs only few hundred grams. Again, thanks to the communication technology, thanks to the semiconductor technology, it has made this mobile so light and full of so many functions. Going further, so how the today's mobile operates. So this is the today's technology, the mobile technology or the cellular technology, the result of Bell Labs innovation. In 1948, this cellular concept was brought from the research lab into the practice. So today's cellular network operates in the service area using a cellular concept. The area is divided into cells. So each cell is managed by a tower. And in each cell, different frequencies are operating. For example, if I make a call standing in the tower 1 area, my call is picked up by the tower 1 and it goes to a central switching station, and that central switching station will find out where is the receiver, probably maybe in the cell 4. So the switch will connect into the cell 4 tower and the subscriber gets connected to the caller. So that is how the conversation happens. So today we have what is called as the GSM and CDMA technology in usage. Both are equally popular. Both have their own plus and minus side. So we will go further in the presentation. we will understand what is social media. So media, all of you are aware. So media is kind of the earlier channels of communication, the newspaper, radio, television, film, where the communication is one way. So you can only listen, but you will not be able to express your opinion. That was the earlier media channel. So today we have what is called as the social media. So these are all basically the tools which are available on the internet. So using these tools, you will be able to have two-way communication. You can receive the information and you can also express your opinion or express your kind of share your information from your end. So the social media has done something phenomenal. So the information reaches many people very quickly. For example, if I share some information with two of my friends, and those two share with two of their friends, and those four share with two of their friends. So it reaches so many people within a short time. So this is one of the very common activities of today. So every minute we receive or send some message or the other using this social media tool. Of course, all of you are aware this social media made a very big difference in the recent parliamentary election. Some political parties, they were able to get connected with the voters very strongly using social media. Going further, let us understand this big data, the other pillar of the digital business. So database, all of you are aware, is organized collection which is well organized information. So the information is stored in a very organized way. So the storage becomes very efficient, search becomes very efficient. So the organization of information in a very systematic way can be called as database. So we store text, we store numeric, we store images, we store ticket records, even our Aadhaar records are stored in a database. This is known to most of you. Going further, a big data is nothing but a database which has enormous size in terms of volume. It also has variety of data. It is also kind of identified by the velocity. The rate at which the data pours into the database, it is enormous. So what can be the specification for a big data? It is still kind of very basic. It is evolving. So we can, today we can say a database which has a size of petabyte, which is equal to 10 to the power of 15 bytes, can be classified as big data. So big data, they are calling it as electricity of 21st century. This big data is going to change things drastically in the 21st century. Going further, let us understand analytics. So it is the science of examining raw data and drawing conclusions. The data as such doesn't have much value. Only when you analyze, when you examine and bring out some conclusions, bring out some insights, then it becomes valuable. Analytics also helps in prediction of the forthcoming results. A common application of analytics is probably we can using these tools and techniques, we can do a forecasting of sales in a given company. Going further, the final pillar, the last pillar which has built the digital business is the cloud computing. See, all these days the companies established their own data centers. They had their own team, and they were running the applications required for the company activity. For example, the purchase application is one of the common applications used in the organization. From this kind of scenario, now the things are moving to the cloud computing. What is cloud computing? Cloud computing, the cloud computing, some company which is at some remote place will be running the infrastructure. They will take the charge of infrastructure. They will maintain the server. They will maintain the application. We as users will get connected to this infrastructure and use the application. For example, my company has 50 employees. I will take access for the 50 employees, and the application is running with some service provider. The purchase application or the sales application, which I commonly use, is managed and is run by a service provider. And my 50 employees, they log into that system and use that application. What are the advantages by this approach? Yeah, the company need not worry about the infrastructure. Hello?
Mr. Prakasha?
Yeah, I am on the line.
Mr. Prakasha? Yes.
Yeah, I'm on the line.
Yes, you can continue with the presentation and just check the slides at your end.
Yeah. Is it my presentation, is it visible?
The slide is on hold, so you just check at your end if you are connected with us.
Yeah. I'm just checking.
Yes.
Yeah, it is getting into the web mode. Hello.
Yes, Mr. Prakasha?
Yeah, it is getting connected. So for a minute,
Oh,
the internet got disconnected. So sorry
okay,
for
okay.
this. Yeah. It says verifying the meeting is starting. Yeah. Yeah. Can you see my presentation now? Hello, Sabha.
Mr. Prakasha,
Yeah.
are you connected?
Yeah, I am connected and I am seeing the dashboard. Probably you have to make me as the presenter. Yeah, I'm seeing the dashboard. Can you see whether you have
Yes.
to make me as the presenter?
Yes, you are the presenter now. You can continue with the presentation.
Yeah. So sorry for the break. We were discussing on the cloud computing. So cloud computing is something which will be remotely managed by some service provider, and the companies can subscribe to this infrastructure and run their application. So what are the advantages and what are the disadvantages of this cloud computing? So on the advantages, the companies need not worry about the infrastructure maintenance. So they need not maintain a big team of IT professionals to manage this data center and the application. They can just pay for the usage and run their application. The scalability, as and when your headcount increases, you can increase the subscription. If the headcount decreases, you can decrease the subscription. So it is very flexible. It is scalable. On the other side, the negative side, the data is sitting in somebody's server at a remote place. So how far the data is secured? Since we are depending on so many links, there could be some issue of reliability. It may not be very reliable. So depending on the pros and cons, the companies have to make decisions. Maybe something they can move to the cloud, something they can continue in their premises. So So going further, let us look at the building blocks of digital transformation for a company. So this slide shows some building blocks. So they are kind of, I would say, they are classified into some 4 different categories. So the first one is the digital capability, the bottommost block. The company has to build the digital capabilities to get into the digital business. The employees have to be trained in this new technology. The employees have to be familiar with the technology. This is building digital capability. The next group of activities is to do with the customer experience. So probably the companies should do something differently to improve the customer experience. I will not get into the details because of the lack of time. Then the next set of activities the companies should see is the operational processes. Probably a lot of digitization they should do. They should enable the workers to do things using the digital technology. The next silo of activities is the business model. The companies have to relook at their business model and do a lot of changes. So these are the building blocks for a company to transform its business into digital business. Going further, let us look at a case study called Volvo Cars. So this is a car manufacturing company based in Sweden. In 2015, they have sold about more than 500,000 cars across 100 countries. They are already in the process of digital transformation using the mobility, social media, analytics, and smart embedded devices. This company was selling the cars through their dealer network. Now, what they are trying to do is they are trying to get connected to the end user, of course, without disturbing the dealer network. So their CEO says, nowadays, you don't sell a car, you sell a transportation solution. Looking into future, we sell an experience. How they have gone into this journey, let us look in the next slide. So in fact, the model what they have followed is exactly what I showed in the earlier slide. So they are focusing on the customer experience, they are focusing on the operational processes, they are focusing and making changes on the business model, and they are also building the digital capabilities. Again, I am not getting into the details for the lack of time. We'll go further. The next case study is the Digital India Initiative. So this is one of the great initiatives Indian government has done in the recent times. The initiative is basically to improve the communication between the government and the citizens. We are a country of very huge population, about 1.2 billion population, speaking several languages, geographically spread across a very large area. So the communication is one of the difficult tasks in the country. So what government talks and what reaches the last man in this country will be very much distorted. So if we can improve communication between the government and the citizens, we will be able to achieve a lot of things. So this Digital India Initiative is in that direction. So the initiative works with 9 different pillars, 9 different programs. So some of them, they are all visible in the slide. 1 or 2 I will just touch upon. For example, the Public Internet Access Program. So this initiative wants to give internet access to all the citizens of this country. So they are doing a lot of things in this direction. The next initiative we can touch upon is the broadband highways. So this is creating a very high bandwidth connectivity across the country. So they are laying fiber optic cable across the country, interconnecting the cities, interconnecting cities to villages, villages to villages. So this will provide communication highway. They are calling it as broadband highway. So like this, the government has taken a lot of initiative. What could be the result of this initiative? As I said, the communication will become more complete and more effective. This will result in various things like the GDP improvement, like per capita income improvement, and even they are expecting because of this, the carbon emission can come down. So if we can provide internet connectivity, mobile connectivity to all the people, probably the travel will come down. Thereby the burning of the fossil fuel will come down. So the carbon emission will come down. Like this, there are going to be lot of results because of this initiative. Going further, the next company which we can quickly touch upon is the Asian Paints. So they are also already into the journey of digital business. They have transformed their way of selling the products. They have built portal for their vendors. So like this, they have taken a lot of initiative. So this is one of the Indian paint companies. People who have built the houses, they will be very familiar with this company. So they have taken already a deep dive into the digital business. Going further, what is the relevance of this digital business to project management community? This slide, we will just touch upon this topic in this slide. So should we, going further, going forward, should we have something like a digital project manager? This question people have to ask. Organizations have to raise this question. Digital knowledge. So the project managers, if they have digital knowledge, the knowledge of the digital technology to manage the project, this question also the organizations have to explore, raise this question and explore. The answer, yes, for this, yes, the project managers should be aware of this new technology, because the projects in future are going to use the digital technology, digital business space for delivering the projects. There could be projects to build the digital business infrastructure. So the project manager should be aware of the technology. So what is the new kind of, say, the pressure which is going to come on the project managers? Any new technology comes, the immediate question the customer raises is, how much cost can you reduce on the project? How fast can you deliver this project? So this question is going to come. Now you are using digital technology, digital business. Can you reduce the cost? Can you deliver the project faster? These questions are going to come. It is going to be a scenario of transformation. Companies will be moving from the conventional scenario to this digital scenario. It's a transformation phase. There will be a lot of ambiguities which will result in scope changes. So the project managers have to manage the scope changes. So it is basically a transformation scenario where companies, where the businesses will be moving from their conventional approach to a new approach. So the project managers have to be aware and they have to be prepared for these new scenarios new questions, and new way of handling the deliverables, new way of handling resources. So going forward, the projects will be managed more and more remotely. So the communication will become the important skill for the project manager. It is already important. It will become further important. So in the future scenarios, the project manager has to manage project teams which are spread geographically across the globe. Most of the communication will happen over the telephone or a web conference like this. So the project manager has to enhance his communication skills to use this new tool. And major investment in coming days are going to happen in this digital space. So this makes mandatory for a project manager to understand this technology and be prepared for the coming days. So with this, the presentation comes to end. So if there are any questions, we can take up now. I'm not able to read the question, Sabha. Can you, this window is, for some reason, window is not completely open. There is a question, but I'm not able to fully see the question, and I'm also not able to see the person's name who is asking this question. Can you please read the question? Yeah.
Yes. Mr. Rajit Agarwal has asked, how is the company able to extract information about the internet users, whether shopping behavior, surfing behavior, etc., whether it is not illegal to extract information without anybody's knowledge?
Yeah, it's a good question. This is the question raised by many consumers as well as the people who run the application. So technically it is possible to collect the data on the transactions done by the consumer. There are regulations, so you cannot be collecting all the details of the consumer. Some details you are free to collect it. So you can collect the data and you can analyze the data using the analytic tools and see what is the best direction for the company to go about.
Second question is by Tapan Jatakia. Do you think that pillars of DB would be changing with times in future?
Yes, the change is constant. So in any field, change is constant. So the technology is changing. So compared to the earlier years and earlier decades, the technology is changing very fast. All of you are experiencing any mobile model, how long it lasts? 6 months to 1 year. So because of the change of technology, the companies will bring in new models, new functions, new utilities. So it will be changing fast. It will be going in the future, the technology will be changing much faster. Yeah, just to add to this, the nanotechnology is going to be applied in all the technology areas. So you will see some unimaginable changes in the technology. So the pillars of the digital business also will have unimaginable changes in the coming year. Yeah, next question, Sabha.
This is by Anjan M. Would most of the projects be executed in agile hybrid model under these model projects?
Yeah, probably that discussing about the project model is a different topic. So today we are not covering that. So in some other session probably we can take up that question. We are not discussing the project execution models today. Okay? Yeah, the next question.
What is the difference between Digital India Smart Cities project and existing e-governance project carried by Government of India? By Jagdish, this question.
Yeah, e-governance is part of the Digital India initiative. So if you, in the slide what I showed, so e-governance was somewhere. So it is one of the programs under the Digital India initiative. Smart Cities program is may have some overlaps with the Digital India initiative. Smart City is basically building a city with modern and very advanced infrastructure in a planned way. Probably we will see cities which are where the roads are built first and then the building. All these days we were seeing the building first built and then we are trying to make a road in between the buildings. Probably that will not be there in a smart city project. Yeah, we can go to the next.
How to make a company digital transformation? Do we need to use any tools? This is by Raj.
Yeah, I showed you the building blocks for digital transformation. So those building blocks will have different software, different technologies. So you have to first of all, you have to come out with a strategy how you will move from the present status to digital business status. Then you have to get into the next level of details. What tools and technologies I should use. So it is a long process. It is a complicated process. There are companies to help this digital transformation. And as I said, things will be changing. So what is applicable today will not be applicable tomorrow. So the companies have to be very, very careful in doing this journey, in taking up this journey. Yes, next we can go.
Kiran Kumar is asking, what are the best digital business tools?
This question probably will take us to the kind of product space. I will not be answering this question because if I talk about any particular tool, it will be kind of advertisement for that particular tool and company. So I will not be answering this question.
Mr. Bhalchandra is asking, this might be the last question. You might have touched upon the aspect. However, I would like to understand what is the key difference between current business model and digital business model.
Yeah, the current business model probably is based on the manual process. There could be some automation in the current scenario also, but it is more of manual processes. And technologies like social media, mobile, and say analytics may not be very much applied in the current processes. So the companies have to build tools and techniques using these social media, mobile, to enable their customers in a better way, to enable customers to have a different kind of experience, to enable their products to reach the market faster.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Prakasha, for this really empowering and motivating session today. I would also like to thank all our participants for making this webinar a great success. This webinar has been recorded and the recording will soon be available on techgig.com. Thank you everyone for joining us.
Thank you.